This is January 2nd, our second day of walking through the Bible with the intention of asking and answering, getting the answers to the questions. Who am I? Who is God? And what the heck are we doing together? So today's reading is in Genesis chapter 3. Satan is introduced. Now, we're not studying about Satan, but Satan has showed his character. He's a liar, he is a deceiver, and he destroys and kills. And he came in, Jesus said in the New Testament that Satan was a murderer and a liar from the beginning. And he came in to steal what Adam had, which is a wonderful relationship with God and his wife. And he convinces Eve, he deceives her into taking fruit from the tree, which God told her not to do. Now, in the beginning of their relationship, there was no shame. They were naked and they were unashamed. And one of the things that I talk about is in the beginning, we only knew ourselves by the reflection of God. So instead of a mirror, we were looking in the face of God and we were seeing ourselves because of who God is and his. There's a lot of reflection here. But when I look inside this mirror, I was looking into the face of God. I had a perfect relationship with him. And the reflection of God and his opinion of me was who I was. But when Satan came and Eve was deceived and sinned and disobeyed God, and Adam purposefully, responsibly, was uh, was influenced by his wife, and Adam also sinned and took the fruit that God told him not to do, not to take. And there was a veil that came over their eyes, a separation between them and God. And when that was like putting a veil, like so that now when they looked into the face of God, there was a separation, there was a blockage, there was something that they couldn't get through. So all they could see, let me see if I can do this, was themselves. So when I look into this now, all I can see is the reflection. I see what's in the room, I see, but when I look and ask, who am I? All I see is myself. When I ask myself, who's going to take care of me? I'm looking at myself. And Adam and Eve lost the protection that they had. They lost the cover, and they not only lost their cover and protection, they were afraid. They lost their relationship with God. They lost their identity as far as understanding who they were, because they could no longer look into the face of God and see themselves. They were looking through a mirror darkly, and they couldn't see clearly. So as God comes in and he says, Adam, where are you? So God reveals himself as a pursuer. He's coming after Adam. He's coming after Eve. He comes after us. He doesn't just wait for us to come to him. He comes and he pursues us. Adam was afraid and he hid. And Adam, in his perverted identity and his perverted relationship because of sin, hid himself from God. And that's who we are at this point. We are fearful. We are full of shame. We're perverted in our identity. And we have to choose who to follow at this point. Before Satan introduced introduced the temptation, Adam and Eve only knew good. Now they know good and evil, because the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was the tree, the fruit that God said, don't eat from that. He didn't say, I'm going to kill you if you eat from that. He said, if you eat from that tree, you shall surely die. The result of eating from us knowing and us choosing between good and evil. It's us. The reflection is all about us. We unplugged ourselves from the source of life, the source of light, the source of peace, the source of joy. We've unplugged ourselves from God. And now we have a choice. We choose between good and evil. We know between good and evil before we only knew good. But we choose between our own knowledge and God's knowledge, our own way and God's way. That is the choice that God has given to us. And that's the choice that Adam and Eve took. They choose to go their own way and unplug from God. Adam was rebellious. We tend to be rebellious. We're born into Adam, and we are now not our identity, it's our behavior. But we are image bearers. We're still image bearers, but we choose to not walk in the path that God has planned for us. God is still our protector. He's still our cover. He provided a way of escape. He provided a cover. He provided a protection. And in verse 3:15, he promises that God promises that Satan will not rule. He will not be victorious in the end, that Jesus will save the human race. And so the Cain, the man-child, the son of Adam, was a murderer. He was angry. His anger led him to murder. But God was a comforter. He was a merciful comforter. He said, "You're not going to be killed." He said that he was a counselor. He said, "You'll be accepted if you do what's right. You're going to be rejected if you do what's wrong." So you choose. It's your choice. And he gave him great advice. Choose good and you will live. But Cain chose to kill his brother Abel. But God was still merciful. He took care of Cain. In the last verse of chapter 4, I believe, let me just check, chapter 4, in the last verse, it said, "At that time, people began to worship the Lord by name." They began to worship the Lord by name. So I choose to be a worshiper, and I know God by name because of his revelation. I know him by several names that describe his characteristics and his relationship and his wish for a relationship with us. I go over to Psalm. Jesus in Matthew was introduced as the Messiah. In Psalms, I want to concentrate. There's so much in the scripture. I started writing down in a notebook who God is, who we are, and what our relationship is. And it was overwhelming, just over and over and over again. I had to stop and write it down. I can't share all that with you in a short video, but that's why I encourage you, find out for yourself, read the Bible for yourself. In Psalm, the Bible talks about God being the one who rules in heaven. He laughs at the nations who are against him. So he's being revealed as the commander-in-chief. He's the ruler. He is in charge of all of the nations. He's commander. Also, it says, but what joy for all who take refuge in him, being God. And he is my refuge and my source of joy. So Proverbs again gives us more wisdom, but I want to stop now and just say, it's your choice. You choose. Now you choose who to follow. Are you going to choose your own knowledge, and are you going to choose God's knowledge? And wish you a blessed day. And if you have not started with us January 1st, that's okay. Start January 2nd and join with us and find out who you are, who God is, and what we're doing together.